This story coming out of Vegas. It has a lot of moving parts, very complicated story. I'll do as best as I can to try to give you the details. I'm getting this from my friend, Illicit Deeds. Illicit Deeds is on Facebook, as well as her own website, illicitdeeds.com. Excellent journalist, and I thank my friend so much because she does an excellent job. But let me give you guys a disclaimer about my type of content. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Getting this crazy story coming out of Vegas. Vegas presents some wild stories. So, the 42-year-old gunman of a Nevada family murder-suicide on Monday sent concerning text messages to his brother the night before the murder, according to law enforcement sources. So they had prior warning. Marvin Patterson messaged his brother that he was getting evicted and his car was being repossessed. Brother, that sounds like a lot of people's story. That don't give you no right to go hurt, harm, or murder anybody. I know people that are going through that. I might have been through that at a time and point in my life also. But you pull, like they say, what do you say? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You get a job, you figure it out. It just takes time. Like, you don't do this. It can't end like this. Those text messages probably prompted Patterson's brother to visit the apartment Monday morning, where he found the family shot, according to Metro Police. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police said Patterson killed his wife, 34-year-old Zi'Myra Patterson, along with his 14-year-old stepdaughter, Keziah Cone, and 6-year-old daughter, Zi'Myra Patterson, before shooting himself. He also shot his 11-year-old stepson, Derek, who remains in the hospital, which we are praying that he pulls through and survives. The coroner's office said the deceased victims were shot in the head and Patterson died by suicide. Metro Police responded to the murder-suicide around 10 a.m. after being called to the Laredo and Palacio apartments near Durango and U.S. Highway 95. Patterson was on house arrest, awaiting trial in April next year on 9 charges related to sexual crimes against children. Do you guys need me to repeat that again? Can you guys hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Let me say that again. Can I get a hashtag? When you date thugs, you date death. Let me read that much slower. Patterson was on house arrest, awaiting trial in April next year, 2024, on not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, but 9 charges related to sexual crimes against children. Huh? Ladies, this is who we're dating. This is who you are living with. This is who you're married to. That's according to Clark County District Court records, not my words. They include 5 counts, and I'm not saying he's guilty, but what I'm saying is with that many freaking charges, there has to be some level of truth in there somewhere. You had to have been doing something wrong, bruh. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Hashtag thug zoo. Hashtag thug lion. Hashtag, what is my other one? You make your bed, you lay in it. I don't know. They include 5 counts of lewdness with a child under the age of 14 years old, 2 counts of sexual assault with a minor under the age of 16 years old, 1 count of lewdness with a child under the age of 16 years old, and 1 count of first-degree kidnapping of a minor. That would not make him a pedophile, ladies and gentlemen. That would make him a hebophile. 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 After they are past their point of being pubescent. Hebophile, not a pedophile. Pedophile is under the age of pubescence. Prepubescence. This is after that age. That would make him a hebophile. Patterson was arrested in October 2022, according to Las Vegas Justice Court records, and his bail was $100,000 with conditions of surrendering his passport, high electronic monitoring, and staying away from children under the age of 18 years old. However, it was lowered to 2 months later by a judge by the name of Diana Sullivan to $10,000 with the same conditions. Patterson posted bond. Patterson was under house arrest during the shootings. Metro Police confirmed that Patterson was following the rules established for his electronic monitoring in all of the locations he was monitored at, including the apartment where the murder-suicide occurred, were approved. Some friends of Zi'Myra, the mother, attending a fundraiser on Thursday to cover funeral costs, questioned why she and the children were at the apartment. Her previous landlord said that she was evicted from a Las Vegas home late November because she was unable to pay her rent. But she had kids. Am I victim shaming? Am I victim blaming? Or am I just kicking the real? So here's the cold part about it. What I want people to understand. Regardless of if she had children or not, guess what she still have to do? Pay her bills, pay her rent, pay her car note, pay her gas, lights, water bill, whatever it is. You have to pay that whether you have kids or not. So that means if she couldn't pay her rent, that means regardless of whether she had kids or not, she still wasn't able to accommodate her own self. So she was evicted. It's unclear if she moved in with Patterson despite the conditions of his bail, which means that she put her children at risk. And I'm assuming that she knew because he also had to be monitored. So that means that she would know, and everybody else around there should have known that also. All right. Patterson's attorney, Burt Whipple, said to look at his motion to lower Patterson's bail, which was presented in court. It was said that Patterson couldn't post a $100,000 bail. The motion was cited to Valdez Jimenez versus 8th Judicial Court in 2020 decisions for process to set bail. It established that judges should consider if the defendant is a flight risk and won't appear back in court, as well as that person is a danger to the community, which clearly he was a danger. Patterson's attorney argued that his client was not a flight risk because he self-surrendered to authorities back in October 2023. He also said Patterson had several individuals who can come forward to testify on behalf of his character, his brother, his wife, his ex-girlfriend, and his son. But look at what you got. Everybody wanted to defend his ass. You know what's funny? He's got more people defending him for things he did do compared to people who were actually innocent, who had to get out by the Innocence Project, who didn't actually do what they were accused of and got no support. It's funny how that works. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Boy, that is cold, cold, cold. If you guys would do me a favor and click that thumbs up, leave a comment and let me know what you guys think about this story. If you have some dissenting opinions, feel free to post it in there so we can talk about it. Here we go.
A lot of questions remain after the murders of 2 children and their mother. One boy remains in the hospital. And as the 8 News Now investigators first reported, the killer was on house arrest.
And the head of one local nonprofit says this tragic story deserves more of a community response and accountability. Investigator Vanessa Murphy with the story.
Marvin Patterson was on house arrest, facing charges of sex crimes against children, when Metro Police say he killed his daughter, stepdaughter, and wife, and also shot her son, who remains in the hospital.
If he had been in jail, none of this would have happened. Where he was supposed to be. I don't think they should have let him out at all.
The mother of Zi'Myra Patterson at this vigil Monday night, hours after learning about her daughter and grandchildren. As the 8 News Now investigators first reported, Patterson's bail was initially set by a substitute judge last October at $100,000 with high-level electronic monitoring. She also ordered him to surrender his passport and stay away from children. About 2 months later, Judge Diana Sullivan reduced the bail to $10,000 with the same conditions. Records did not show any restrictions on firearms. Patterson posted bond through a Las Vegas bail company.
And that's a slap in the face to the victims.
Jasmine Lee runs the Doc Ellis Foundation, named after her father, which provides resources for the families of missing and murdered people of color.
When I looked at the charges, I was baffled because it could have been prevented. The lack of we're in danger. The community didn't realize that we have an individual who's floating around. That bothered me.
No comment from Judge Sullivan. Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson says his prosecutors argued against lowering the bail, while Patterson's defense attorney Brett Whipple points to this bail motion, which states Patterson had a good relationship with his wife and the children. The 8 News Now investigators also obtained Patterson's criminal history. In addition to the 9 felony charges he was set to go on trial for in April, there are several other arrests listed, the most recent in 2005, along with a warrant for failing to appear in court.
We need to sit down and we need to have a conversation. We need to talk with Metro. We need to talk with the individuals that are working in the judicial system. We need to hold this judge accountable and understand why she did what she did and how do we make sure that that does not happen again.
It is unclear why Zi'Myra Patterson and the children were with Marvin Patterson on Monday. However, court records show she had recently been evicted. Lee says more organizations need to come together to help families in crisis, and more accountability is needed in the judicial system to avoid a tragedy like this. Vanessa Murphy, 8 News Now.
Vanessa, thank you. And today, a food truck fundraiser to help raise money for the family. The owner of Trap Wings says he knew Patterson and her children and wants to do his part.
First, with breaking news, Fox 5 News starts now.
The adult male, at some point in time during the morning, early morning hours, shot 3 juvenile children, an older female, and himself.
4 people are dead on what Metro Police are calling a murder-suicide. A live picture of the crime scene right now at an apartment complex near the 95 and Durango. Metro Police are investigating another deadly shooting. Police say 3 juveniles were shot. 2 of them died.
And Metro Police provided details a short time ago and say there is no threat to the community. Police say the man shot and killed 2 juveniles, a woman, then himself at an apartment complex. A 3rd juvenile was rushed to UMC. All the juveniles are under the age of 14.
Tonight, we are learning more about the man at the center of a murder-suicide at the Centennial Hills apartment complex on Monday. According to court documents, 42-year-old Marvin Patterson was facing several felony sex crimes. Our Jaewon Jung explains why he wasn't kept in jail.
Police say 42-year-old Marvin Patterson killed himself and 3 others, including 2 children, in a shooting at a Centennial Hills apartment complex on Monday.
Right now we have 1 adult male deceased, an adult female deceased, 2 juveniles, deceased and 1 juvenile at UMC Hospital clinging to life.
Court documents reveal Patterson was facing several felony charges in Clark County, including sexual assault against a child under 16 and lewdness with a child under 14. He was scheduled to go to trial next April. Last October, Patterson's bail was set at $100,000 for the charges he was facing. But just 2 months later in December, a Clark County judge lowered his bail to only $10,000, agreeing with his defense team Patterson would not skip bail and needed to help support his family. Patterson then posted bond and was placed on house arrest.
I think that the court system failed. I think that the prosecutors could have done more under these circumstances. I think that the guardian or whoever brought those children over to the defendant's home failed these children as well.
Former Clark County District Attorney David Roger believes more should have been done to keep Patterson in custody.
I want y'all to catch how slick he said that. And he said, and the person that brought these children over there, let me rewind that. He basically said what I said.
Or under these circumstances, I think that the guardian or whoever brought those children over to the defendant's home failed these children as well.
So yes, like I said, for those who talk about I'm victim shaming, victim blaming, he said the same thing that I said, and the mother failed her children, bringing them over there, especially with this man having this level of accusations against him, dealing with sex with underage people. So I 100% agree. 100% agree. Yep.
We are learning the names of the 3 people killed in yesterday's deadly mass shooting that happened in the Northwest Valley. The Clark County Coroner's Office says 34-year-old Zi'Myra Patterson, 14-year-old Keziah Cohn, and 6-year-old.
I also find that wild, the fact that the mother has her hair did up like that's one of the coldest hairdos I've seen in a long time, but she couldn't pay her rent though. Now I've actually heard women say this before, like they weave costs more than people's rent. So that looked like weave on her head. I don't know if it is or if it ain't, but it looks expensive. I just thought I'd throw that out there because that was the picture that was taken. That was the picture that was posted. It's a good looking picture, but it looks expensive. Just throwing that out there.
Zi'Myra Patterson all died after being shot. Police say the shooter, Marvin Ray Patterson, then turned the gun on himself. An 11-year-old boy also shot. A family member telling 8 News Now the boy is clinging to life. And tonight, the families and friends remembering the lives lost. Thank you for joining us at 11. I'm Brian Loftus.
And I'm Denise Valdez. 8 News. Loving mom and friend and her girls as just the happiest little girls.
I treated them kids like they was my own.
An emotional night after Monday morning's tragedy. 5 people shot, 4 dead. The family clinging to their light in the darkness.
This was not supposed to happen.
Jamesetta Bernuti remembering her 34-year-old daughter, Zi'Myra Patterson.
She was sweet, kind, do anything for you.
Zi'Myra's sister, Michaela Bernuti.
She was there no matter who you was, how long she knew you. If she had it, she go give it to you.
Michaela describes her nieces, 14-year-old Keziah Cohn, 6-year-old Zi'Myra Patterson.
Duty, that's Zi'Myra. She was sweet. Like, she was the most innocent child I ever met. Like, she didn't have a mean bone in her body. Keziah was goofy. She loved to draw.
Their brother, Derek Jr., recovering in the hospital.
He's still fighting. We praying for him. And he go pull through. He's strong.
Our 8 News Now investigators uncovering police records showing the gunman was accused of child sex crimes and was on house arrest.
If he had been in jail, none of this would have happened. Where he was supposed to be. I don't think they should have let him out at all.
For now, the family sending up their love and prayers. Lauren Negretti, 8.
People, y'all gotta stop with these balloons, man. It's trashing the place. That's not how you pay homage to anybody. Light some candles. Stop releasing balloons. I keep telling y'all, they're making that illegal in some states, and y'all gonna get fined for it, for releasing all that trash. Those balloons are not going to heaven. Okay? Regardless of what y'all think, they're not going to heaven. They're going to go and just trash up the place, just littering. So, my closing thoughts, and I thought about this also, and thank y'all for calling it out in the chat. It makes you wonder with that little girl on the left-hand side of the screen who looks like a younger, untainted version. Let me back that up like a U-Haul truck because that's not his daughter on the left picture, the tall one. Looks like an untainted version of her mother. Young and untouched. And this man has a history, allegedly, of sex crimes against children. Would y'all put it past him that maybe he abused her daughter? And maybe the mother might have overlooked it? Because if he could do it with other people's kids, why would he not do it to her kid? I think that, and I've said this before, that pedophiles and hebophiles, that's not a mentality that can be fixed. It just needs to be punished. I don't think people like that can be rehabilitated. So I think people like that would mess with any child that they can get their hands on because the likelihood of them being able to get their hands on a child is usually not very high, right? So they are opportunists. So I would think that if this person being an opportunist, based on what I just described, would absolutely have went after her daughter as well. Absolutely pitiful. And I agree with that good old white man when he said that the mother did no favors by moving in with this effing criminal. Straight like that. To the young girls, may they rest in peace. To the mother, RIP to her, I guess. And to the son, pray for him that he can make a full recovery. And we're going to hope and pray for that he can grow up and be strong and become something great, okay? Let's pray for that. So we're not going to get no justice here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Some you disagree with, just make sure it follows logic, okay? Thank you.